Good evening. It's just gone 6 o'clock on Saturday the 27th of August, and welcome to our Saturday evening news programme, coming to you live from the heart of Wyke, Regis. And in the news this week, Weymouth Town Council is raising awareness about the work of the Dorset Mental Health Forum by lighting the clock face of the iconic Jubilee clock green over this August bank holiday weekend. Now, Dorset Mental Health Forum aims to increase understanding of mental health, well-being and recovery, challenging prejudice around people's experiences of mental distress and trauma through lived experience, expertise, education and co-production. The charity turns 30 this year, and lighting up the clock tower kickstarts celebratory activities, which culminates with a community festival event in September. Now, Sarah Rose, who's the operations director for the forum, said, "We are pleased to work in partnership with a range of services across the county and are grateful to Weymouth Town Council for giving us the opportunity to amplify the voice of our organisation and enable us to reach more people who may benefit from our work." A Weymouth iconic Jubilee clock is lit up throughout the year to raise awareness for good causes. In recent months, the clock face has been lit up in support of local and national charities, including Weymouth Street Pastors, Marie Curie and the RNLI. Now, to find out more about the other organisations and charities who have been recognised by the Jubilee clock being lit up, you can visit Weymouth Town Council's website, specifically www.weymouth-town-council.gov.uk/light-hour-jubilee-clock-for-charity. There we go, if you can remember all of that. Now, walkers will be putting their best foot forward for charity next month as they take part in an annual walk to the River Jordan to raise funds for Christian Aid. Now, I should point out that this is the River Jordan that's in Dorset, not the one a long way away. The 8-mile sponsored walk will take place on Saturday the 17th of September, beginning at St Peter's Church, Dorchester at 9:30 a.m. and will finish at Bowleys Cove, Preston, and then return back to Dorchester after lunch by public transport. Now, Tony Boyden, who's chairman of the Dorchester and District Christian Aid Group, said the walk was a great opportunity to raise funds for Christian Aid's emergency appeal in East Africa. Millions of people across the region are facing the threat of famine following the worst drought in 40 years. We need to support Christian Aid, who are helping over 300,000 in Ethiopia and Kenya by repairing wells, handing out water purification kits, trucking water into drought-affected communities and providing fodder and medicine to keep valuable livestock alive. The local group is encouraging churches across the town to hold collections for the charity's emergency appeal, or you can support by giving online at East Africa Hunger Crisis Appeal at Christian Aid. Now, if you want to take part in that walk, our sponsor forms for the walk are available from Phil Stacey, and his phone number is 0794 282 1848, or by email pjstacey@live.co.uk. So that's 0794 282 1848 or pjstacey@live.co.uk. Now, any of this information that we give out during our programme that you don't manage to catch, just drop us an email at news@whiteregis.tv, and of course we'll be happy to pass on those contacts to you. As many will know, the A354 Portland Beach Road was closed for several hours today following an accident in the early hours of the morning. Sadly, this has turned out to be a fatal accident, with one person unfortunately losing their life. Now, Dorset police officers are appealing for witnesses or anyone with dashcam footage in respect of this accident. At 2:43 a.m. today, Dorset police received a report of a single vehicle road traffic collision on Portland Beach Road involving a white Honda motorcycle. The rider of the motorcycle, a man aged in his 50s from Nottinghamshire, was taken to hospital for treatment, but very sadly he later died at hospital, and his next of kin have been informed. An investigation is underway to establish the full circumstances of the incident, and the police are appealing for anyone who saw what happened or may have relevant dashcam footage to please come forward. Now, they're particularly keen to hear from anyone who drove through the location from Ferrybridge to Portland between approximately 2 a.m. and 2:45 a.m. this morning. And if you've got any dashcam footage, they would really like to hear from you. Now, officers from Dorset Police are also investigating reports that 2 teenage boys were touched inappropriately by a man in Weymouth and are appealing for witnesses or anyone with information to come forward. It was reported that between 11 a.m. and 12 p.m. on Thursday 11th of August, a 15-year-old boy was riding his bike when he was stopped by a man in an alleyway that runs between Lindale Road and Walker Crescent in Wyke, Regis. The man hugged the boy and touched him inappropriately. The boy pushed the man off and he walked away. A further report was received that around 11 a.m. the same morning, another 15-year-old boy was getting into a car in Dundee Road when a man approached him and touched him inappropriately over his clothing. The man stepped away and the victim was able to close the car door. The man was described as having grey hair and glasses and was wearing a red polo shirt and shorts. Now, Police Constable Abby Snelling of Weymouth Police said, "We have been carrying out inquiries into these reports and have obtained full accounts from both victims. Our investigations indicate that these incidents are believed to have involved the same man, and we are now appealing to the public for anyone with information to please come forward. I'd like to hear from anyone who witnessed either incident or who may have captured anything on relevant dashcam or home CCTV or even doorbell camera footage." Also, officers are investigating a burglary in Weymouth. Sometime between 8:45 p.m. and 9:10 p.m. on Sunday the 7th of August, entry was gained via an insecure door to an address in Park Street. The occupants returned to find the suspect still inside. Once disturbed, the suspect made off. Nothing was stolen. The suspect is described as white, around 5 feet 5 inches tall, aged in his late 30s, of skinny build, with pale complexion and short light brown hair. He was wearing shorts and a blue top. If you can help with any of these incidents, please do call either Dorset Police Direct on 101, or if you'd like to pass on any information anonymously, as ever, you can do this through the independent Crime Stoppers charity, who will guarantee absolute anonymity, by calling them on 0800 555 111. Now, landlords are being encouraged to work with Dorset Council to give families a stable home, improve the quality of properties and benefit by having access to a dedicated service. There is a high demand for available homes from families in the council area, and landlords who sign up and commit to making their property safe and good quality can get specialist advice and discounts as a result. The Landlord Local Authority Partnership, also called the LLAP, recognises responsible landlords who manage good quality accommodation and maintain their properties to a good standard. The partnership is free to join, and landlords can benefit from training, regular information updates including advice on their statutory responsibilities, changing laws and guidance. It can also lead to a 10% reduction in some fees, including licences for houses of multiple occupancy, or HMOs as they're called. Landlords will also benefit by having a trained team of staff to answer questions and queries specific to their needs, as well as a dedicated newsletter. Bite-sized videos are currently available to landlords explaining how they can improve the energy efficiency of their properties. More videos will go online to provide help and guidance on other important topics. These videos explain how the government regulations affect the private sector rental market for energy efficient homes, including installing cavity and loft insulation. The minimum energy efficiency standard regulations are aimed at improving rental property to energy rating C by the year 2030. Now, for more information or to sign up with a partnership, you can go to the following website: www.dorsetcouncil.gov.uk/advice-for-landlords. So that's www.dorsetcouncil.gov.uk/housing/advice-for-landlords. Now, Wessex Water has thanked local residents for using water responsibly during the dry weather this summer, which has helped avoid the need for a hosepipe ban locally. Households are urged to keep up the good work, even now the temperatures are cooling, because rivers and wildlife need protection. Wessex Water currently spends £30 million a year, more than a fifth of its annual water supply expenditure, on detecting and fixing 1,200 leaks every month. Leakage reduced by 30% in 20 years means that despite a 12% population increase, less water is now needed for supply. Now, Paul Saynor, head of water resources and supply strategy at Wessex Water, has said the combination of people opting for water meters so they can monitor their usage and 30% reduction in leakage over the last 20 years has put us in a strong position this summer, despite a 12% increase in population since the year 2000. Groundwater and reservoir levels are lower than average at the moment, but we are not near the recorded levels of 1976, which was the last time Wessex Water had to impose a hosepipe ban. We're very grateful to customers for doing their bit to help each other and the environment, and urge everyone to keep making the effort to reduce their water footprint in case the dry weather continues through the autumn and winter. Now, groundwater, which is more resilient against dry weather, makes up approximately 75% of Wessex Water's sources for water, and the other 25% is water that's stored in reservoirs. This contrasts with many other regions in the UK where water is largely sourced from reservoirs, and this is why in South Dorset in particular we very rarely get a hosepipe ban, because most of it comes from underground sources of water. Also, between 2010 and 2018, Wessex Water invested £230 million in building a water supply grid which allows water to be transferred to where it's needed most, whilst also reducing the need for abstraction in sensitive areas. And to help maintain healthy river flows and protect wildlife, it is pumping water from deep underground into rivers as part of its stream support initiative. So whilst there's been many stories about water issues across the country, it would seem that our water supply in South Dorset is in good order, and good work there being done by Wessex Water, and long may that continue. Now, there's great news for children, young and old, in the Dorset area and further afield, including Weymouth and Portland. After many months of hard, painstaking work, the steamroller play equipment is back and open at Kings Road play area, and on screen you can see that steamroller, and that has been there for many years, and I remember it when I was a youngster there, just as you go out of Dorset to the east, down by the ambulance station. Now, Dorset Town Council are pleased to be able to say it's time to come and enjoy this iconic Dorchester industrial heritage again. Much loved by many in Dorchester and beyond, and a magnet for children over many decades, it has been on site. The engine is finally repaired and ready to last another century. It does look in good order, I have to say, from the picture. Whilst the work progressed to strip back years of paint, temporary repairs and corrosion, one big discovery was made: just how decayed it actually was. It quickly became clear that the decision to undertake the remedial work was very timely, as corrosion inside the old engine was extensive and significant. If left much longer, the engine could have been beyond repair. Now, the works were carried out by William Murgatroyd at Spitfire Forge, and the Town Council would like to thank him for time and effort he put into the repair work, making sure the roller was fit for many generations to come. He went above and beyond the role of simply effecting repairs, which has been a huge help. Now, Kings Park will be a prime location to view the Tour of Britain as it passes through Dorset on Saturday the 10th of September. So why not come along to watch the race pass by and enjoy the engine at the same time? And thank you to Carl Dallison, who was the taker of the picture there, so that is courtesy of Carl. So yeah, I'm sure many of you are familiar with that steamroller in Dorchester. Certainly is something I remember when I was much younger. Now, Dorset Council's green approach to highways maintenance, road retexturing, is contributing to a reduction in emissions by the County Council. Working with WJ Texture Blast, the Council has refreshed 67,000 square metres of road surface this year, raising skid resistance to improve the safety of highways. Where appropriate, the sustainable solution eliminates the need to resurface a road and instead uses one of two techniques to blast the road surface to regain its skid resistance to the same or better level of resistance it had when it was first laid. Depending on the individual site, the road will either have small steel shots fired at the surface to improve the texture, or will have water blasted at the surface to remove excess binder. This road retexturing has helped reduce the amount of carbon dioxide produced by over 335,000 kilograms and saved around 6,700 tonnes of virgin aggregates from being used. It also has a financial saving of over £1.2 million compared to using conventional resurfacing methods to provide a new textured surface. And road retexturing is also more convenient for the travelling public, as the roads can remain open during the treatment. So that's a good story there from Dorset Council, saving money, saving the environment, and saving on closing roads while they actually improve road surfaces. Now, Weymouth annual beach motocross will happen again this year on Sunday the 9th of October, and the Weymouth and Portland Lions Club are keen to hear from volunteers to help run the event. Now, they're happy to hear either from individuals or from groups who would be interested in helping with the event. Help is needed with stewarding, programme sales, and the setup and clear up of the event. Now, if you're interested in helping, or you're part of a group who might be interested in helping, please drop us an email here at Wyke Regis TV, and we will put you in touch with the coordinator at Weymouth and Portland Lions. So as ever, news at wykeregis.tv if you would like to help with the beach motocross in Weymouth on Sunday the 9th of October, which is organised by the Weymouth and Portland Lions Club. And of course, the Lions are one of those great organisations that raise money and support the good work of many other charities in the area, and this is one of their main fundraising events, so they obviously rely on the support of people to help raise that much needed money. Now, Dorset drivers are to benefit from £2.7 million worth of EV charge points. That's for electric vehicles. More than 1,000 new electrical vehicle charge points are to be installed in a new pilot as part of a wider £450 million scheme. Drivers in Dorset will have better access to electrical vehicle charge points after being awarded £2.7 million through a new pilot backed by £20 million of government and industry funding announced this week. Through the innovative local EV infrastructure pilot scheme, Dorset Council and industry will work together to create new commercial EV charging infrastructure for residents, from on-street charging points to larger petrol station style charging hubs. The rollout supports the government's drive to encourage more motorists to go electric, which can save drivers money on fuel and running costs and improve air quality as the country moves towards net zero. The scheme will help residents without private driveways to have better access to charging points, as well as growing the charging network across the country, supporting the nation's uptake of zero-emission vehicles and enabling more people to drive and charge without fear of being caught short, no matter where they are in the country. Now, firefighters from Bridport Fire Station are holding an open day for the first time in 2 years. The event will take place next Saturday, the 3rd of September, from 10 AM to 4 PM, offering fun, entertainment and advice for all ages. Bridport's firefighters are excited to finally be able to welcome the local community back onto the fire station on Sea Road South, and are encouraging everyone to come along for a fun-filled day, a look around the station, fire appliances, and to learn about home fire and road safety. The event will involve a wide range of activities, including road traffic collision demonstrations, fire engine tours, an abseiling display from the Coast Guard, face painting and other activities for children, including a teddy bear zip line. Now, if you're in Wyke, you'll know that the teddy bear zip wire that we do from the church in Wyke Tower is very, very popular, so I'm sure it will be popular over there at Bridport Fire Station. The station will also be holding 2 of their legendary tombolas, one for adults and one for children. Anyone wanting to donate a prize for the tombolas is asked to contact Bridport Fire Station through their Facebook page. An exhibition that has been running at Shire Hall Museum in Dorset is coming to an end this week. It's in its final week and it will be running up until Friday the 2nd of September. The exhibition, which gives an insight into the writings and personal life of Agatha Christie, took about 15 years to put together and includes lots of memorabilia such as daggers, books, letters and costumes. It also includes 6 first editions of books Christie wrote under the guise of Mary Westmacott. Entry to the exhibition also includes entry to the Shire Hall. As we say, that runs up until Friday. If you've got an interest in Agatha Christie and you haven't been along there, it's your last chance to do it this week. And finally, in our headlines tonight, Monkey World have put out a unique appeal for insects as well as other supplies. Now, Monkey World is situated near Bovington, Dorset, and has issued a shopping list of items it needs for its monkeys. On the list are insects, seeds, nuts and squash, as well as lots of other things. I did look at the list earlier. There's about 20 different items on the list. Now, they've set up a wish list of items on Amazon, so if you search for Monkey World Amazon wish list, you'll find it. You can also find it through the Monkey World Ape Rescue official website page. On the page it says, insects are a great form of nutrition for so many of our guys here, the monkey species in particular, but even the apes appreciate the odd waxworm or locust. Now, the Ape Rescue Centre was set up by Jim and Alison Cronin in 1987. It's home for over 250 animals, and as many will know, it is the home and featured in the TV show Monkey Life, which I think is about 12 or 13 seasons old. Now, that's the end of our headlines this week. Now, our first feature this week looks at a film evening that's coming up in October at Royal Manor Theatre on Portland. It is called Riding Out, a Night of Adventure, cycling 3,427 miles around pandemic Britain. Now, Simon Parker is an award-winning travel writer and broadcaster who has reported from well over 100 countries by the age he was 34 for the BBC, The Telegraph and Amazon Prime. Now, in this multimedia presentation of short films, photos and audio clips and anecdotes, he will talk about cycling 3,427 miles around pandemic Britain during 2020 and 2021. And we're going to get a sneak preview now about this event, which I'll give you more details on afterwards.
At first, when I came in from Norfolk, it was very, very flat. But the last day or so has just been these rolling, beautiful meadows and pastures, which I think I can now sense that England is starting to climb again towards Yorkshire and then eventually the Scottish Highlands, because down south it was beautifully flat, but now I can gradually sense that England is climbing up to high altitude. Generally, the feeling, I think, is that Britain is coming out the other side of this. There's a feeling of optimism, there's a feeling of hope and also resilience. Moving along at about 10, 11 or 12 miles per hour, I can just see these gentle changes in the way we are adapting to the new normal around us. And there are just things that you see on a bicycle which you would never ever normally get to perceive if you were rushing through them in a car or in a train. For me, cycling is the perfect speed to perceive the world around me. I find plane travel and trains and cars to be far too fast for my mindset. I just love being out in the open. I love being in the countryside. I love going to little pubs. I like going to little tea rooms. I like watching cricket on the village green. I am a country boy, and I'm not ashamed to say that. And there is just something so rewarding about zigzagging around rural Britain.
There we go. Now, I'm sure you'll agree that the photography in that short snippet is really good, and I think it is going to be a really good evening. And Simon is a very easy to listen to presenter. Now, Simon travelled to the furthest corners of Britain, including Shetland, Scilly, and the Highlands, Cumbria, and the North York Moors, to find out how the pandemic had impacted people of all backgrounds. And this is a ground level portrait of Britain with dozens of unique stories: farmers, fishermen, artists and musicians, young, old, rich and poor. Simon also talks about his own struggles with anxiety, bereavement and mental health. And the talk will be followed by a question and answer, and his new book Riding Out will be available for purchase as well. Now, it's called Riding Out, A Night of Adventure with Simon Parker. It's at the Royal Manor Theatre, Portland. It's on Wednesday, the 5th of October at 7:30 p.m. Do go along to their website. We'll mention this again in the weeks coming up, Royal Manor Theatre. And it's well worth putting the date in your diary. Certainly if you want to go out for something a bit different. That's the 5th of October 2022 at 7:30 at Royal Manor Theatre on Portland. Now, our second feature tonight, having read this week's long-range weather forecast, and we've also spoken about Wessex Water and their trials and tribulations with water, I've learnt from the long-range weather forecast that despite the rainfall we've had over the last week or so, the drought for us on the south coast, or the lack of rain for us on the south coast, will continue well into the autumn. And as we know, Wessex Water want us to still be sensible with water. So I was interested this week to come across a report from Wessex Water that they are working closely with organisations such as the Royal Horticultural Society, or RHS for short. So this week we've got a piece from Janet Manning, who is a water management specialist from the RHS, talking about water conservation and the garden. So over to Janet now.
Hi, I'm Janet Manning and I'm the Water Management Specialist at the RHS. Hopefully I'll be able to give you a few ideas that not only help you save water but also help you grow better plants as well. We're sitting here on my lawn. The trick is that we don't mow it very short. It's quite shaggy at the moment, and that helps to retain the moisture in underneath the plant. The more leaves that you've got above the soil, the deeper the roots will grow, and those roots can then find moisture for themselves. Many people like to water in the evenings, and that's fine. It's always best to water in the cooler parts of the day rather than in the heat of the sun. But there are quite a few reasons why it's probably better for your plants to water in the mornings. They start using the water when the sun comes up. It's best to water at the roots, but if you do end up getting the foliage wet, if you do it in the evening, then that foliage stays wet all through the night, and that's going to encourage mildew and fungal diseases. Also, if you've got the surface of the soil wet in the evening, that's the perfect conditions to bring out the slugs and the snails, and they'll start eating your plants. The next tip is to use mulch. Now, mulch acts like an insulation layer over the top of your soil. This is wood chip and it's quite coarse. The reason it needs to be coarse is so that it's really free draining, and when you do water or it rains, then the water will go straight through the mulch and all reach the roots and the soil underneath. Another way that you can save water is to reuse what you've used in the house. I use this little trug and I just leave that in my kitchen sink. You can also take that in the shower with you, and I've got a bucket full of water to take out to water my plants. Another way to save using mains water is to switch to a water butt. Tap water is fine for your plants, but actually your plants will prefer rainwater, and that's really great for both indoor and outdoor plants, and indoor plants especially, because they never get the full flush of a rainstorm outside.
There we go, some very useful tips there from Janet Manning from the Royal Horticultural Society. And I have to say, the idea of the trug and taking water out, there's a friend of mine, I won't embarrass him by saying who in case he's listening, his wife now makes him stand in a big trug in the shower when he's showering, so that it fills up with water, and then he has to take it out for the garden afterwards. Just shows that people are taking that sort of advice and are being sensible with water. And very useful tips there about when to water, whether to water in the morning or the evening there, which I found very helpful. Now it's that time in the programme where we go over to our regular contributor Andrew Wright for this week's film review. Over to Andrew now.
Welcome to Wyke Regis TV film review and preview. I'm Andrew Wright. This week, Warner Bros. Discovery made a few changes to its upcoming release slate. Firstly, James Wan's Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom needs more time in post-production than originally thought, so it is being delayed from next March to Christmas Day 2023. The first Aquaman film was released in 2018 and was the first DC film to gross $1 billion. To fill the space left by Aquaman, David F. Sandberg's Shazam! Fury of the Gods is being delayed from this Christmas to March 17th, 2023, where it will be able to utilise IMAX showings, which it would have been unable to due to competition from Avatar: The Way of Water. A release date of September 8th, 2023 has been given to Michael Chavez's The Nun 2, the 9th film in the Conjuring universe, and the sequel to 2018's The Nun. The post-Labor Day box office slot proved successful for the first film. Two films previously scheduled for a HBO Max exclusive release have been slated for theatrical releases, in line with Warner Bros. Discovery renewed focus on theatrical releases. First off is the LeBron James produced remake of the 1990 film House Party. It will be released on December 9th this year and stars Doctor Who's Tosin Cole. The other is the fifth installment in the Evil Dead franchise, titled Evil Dead Rise, and is slated to release next April with the involvement of horror juggernauts Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell as executive producers. However, the film adaptation of Stephen King's Salem's Lot has been removed from the schedule. The UK release dates are uncertain at this time. This week marked the series premiere of Game of Thrones prequel series House of the Dragon, based on the George R. R. Martin book Fire and Blood. This series takes place 172 years before the birth of Game of Thrones icon Daenerys Targaryen, and it shows the events that lead to the downfall of House Targaryen and their war of succession. The series features a British cast including Doctor Who's Matt Smith, non-binary actor Emma Darcy as the titular princess of the series, Ready Player One's Olivia Cook, and Scottish actor Graham McTavish. The series is co-created by George R. R. Martin and is showrun by Miguel Sapochnik, a director responsible for directing several key Game of Thrones episodes throughout the last 4 seasons, in particular battles such as Hardhome, the Battle of the Bastards, and The Long Night. As a big Game of Thrones fan, I was massively looking forward to the series, and I found it to be quite interesting, especially as this prequel approaches things from a more political angle than its more famous predecessor. I look forward to seeing how the series plays out. The series airs on Mondays at 2 AM and 9 PM on Sky Atlantic. Next week is the much anticipated release of Amazon Prime Video's Lord of the Rings series, subtitled The Rings of Power. The series is set thousands of years before The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, but will still feature recognizable characters such as Elrond and Galadriel. The series will cover all the major events of Middle-earth's Second Age, such as the forging of the Rings of Power and the rise of the Dark Lord Sauron. Amazon has a $1 billion 5-season commitment to the series, with Season 1 having filmed in New Zealand, like the Peter Jackson films, and Season 2 relocating production to the UK. The series airs early Friday mornings weekly, starting with the first 2 episodes on September 2nd. That's all I have for this week, but be sure to check back next week where I will talk about the new George Miller film, 3,000 Years of Longing. Now back to Gary in the studio.
Thank you very much, Andrew. And Andrew mentioned there about how there have been some criticism of some of the movie distributors moving back to theatrical release. So basically, putting films in the cinemas before they go out on digital download, etc. And of course, we've heard news in the last few weeks of Cineworld, one of the, well, I think they are the biggest cinema chain in the world, going or filing for voluntary bankruptcy in the US because they've been struggling obviously over the pandemic and because people are staying at home to watch films. So it's important that they do actually go back to theatrical releases to keep the cinema trade going. Now, touching on Warner Brothers and just an extra bit on our film section tonight, this week they have released on digital download Notre Dame on Fire, and I actually saw the trailer to this and I thought I must share this with you. It's directed by Jean-Jacques Arnaud. Notre Dame on Fire offers a blow-by-blow recreation of the gripping events that took place on April the 15th, 2019, when the cathedral suffered the biggest blaze in its history. The film retraces how heroic men and women put their lives on line to accomplish an awe-inspiring rescue. So this is available for digital download on quite several platforms. It's from Warner Brothers and it's out now, and I'm sharing it with you courtesy of Warner Brothers tonight.
Anticipation feu Notre-Dame.
Notre-Dame brûle. Ça va les partir de partout. Les officiels, les politiques, les célébrités. On va avoir 2 feux à gérer.
Il va falloir vous battre à quelques-uns. Paris est bloqué.
Feu de toiture.
Poursuivons reconnaissance.
Poursuivons reconnaissance, c'est pas bon.
Ça va? Alors on y va.
Ça veut dire désastre annoncé.
Avec quelques gars en haut, je crois qu'on peut y arriver, mon général.
Avec mes hommes, on se porte volontaire.
On a demandé des lances supplémentaires et du renfort. Il n'y aura pas de renfort.
There we go, that's Notre Dame on Fire, a gripping blow-by-blow recreation of the events of the fire at Notre Dame on the 15th of April 2019, and that looks to be actually an amazing film with some amazing photography there, if that's of interest to you. Now we come to that time in the programme where it's time to see what weather's in store for us over the weekend, first of all, with the national forecast today given to us by Alex Deakin of the Met Office.
Welcome along to your national weather forecast covering the weekend, which is for many of us a bank holiday weekend. And for many of us, it's going to be a fine weekend of weather as well. 3 days of mostly dry and bright conditions thanks to high pressure that's slowly building in from the north. There are weather fronts that will bring a little bit of rain to the northwest, especially during Saturday. But as I say, for most, high pressure in control. To push in. That will eventually bring some patchy rain, especially on the north coast of Northern Ireland, into parts of the Highlands, the Western Isles through Saturday evening. Elsewhere though, most of us having a fine Saturday night, clear spells, temperatures mostly holding up into double figures. On to Sunday's details, and for the vast majority, dry fine with sunny spells. Quite cloudy across northern Scotland, that weather front still around, so a little bit of rain at times over the Highlands, the Western Isles, but it should tend to peter out. Still the chance of 1 or 2 showers over northern England, eastern Scotland, but again, most places won't see those dry fine with some sunshine. Notice the breeze just starting to pick up along the south coast. That's going to be a feature of the weather through Sunday and especially during Monday. Temperatures, though, for most on Sunday a little bit higher, widely over 20 Celsius, low 20s for northern England, southern Scotland, Northern Ireland, mid-20s further south. By the time we get to Monday, well, that area of high pressure is really starting to slip in, but it is coming in from the north, so it is bringing with it slightly cooler air as it drifts in, particularly across parts of the east. So a slightly fresher feel across the east by the time we get to Monday, and the isobars are squeezing together. So I talked about that wind picking up along the south coast. It really will be quite a feature, south coast of England, but also Wales on Monday. So something to bear in mind if you are heading to the coast. Could get quite gusty along some of those southern coasts on Monday, which is a bank holiday for many of us. Sunny spells, though, for the vast majority, a little cooler in the east. For details as we go through this weekend, make sure you stay up to date. And the best way to do that, of course, follow us on social media.
Thank you very much, Alex. And looking at the local weather this week, we get our weather widget up. We can see that it's going to be quite warm still. It's going to be sunny and cloudy spells, but doesn't look like too much rain until next Friday. So a fine week ahead. Maybe a little bit on the milder side than we've had recently, which I'm quite happy with. So we're still going to have to think about water in the garden and collecting our water and taking it out for our garden, as we mentioned earlier. Now, looking at our What's On section tonight, shows coming up at Weymouth Pavilion in the next few weeks. 31st of August, that'll be the day. 2nd of September, Uptown Joel, the music of Billy Joel. 3rd of September, Go Your Own Way, the Fleetwood Mac legacy. 8th of September, Bournemouth Symphony Orchestra, Symphonic Gems. 9th of September, Ben Portsmouth, The King Is Back, that's an Elvis tribute. 11th of September, Hello Again, the story of Neil Diamond. And the 15th of September, The Drifters. As usual, more information of those shows and others, and to book online at weymouthpavilion.com or by telephone, the box office 01305 783 225. Now, the Nothe Fort, Monday night, 29th, 17:30, 5:30, Jazz, Rock and Blues session. The Robbie McIntosh Band plus special guest Mickey B and the Night Owls. That's been running for a few weeks. It's the last one this Monday evening. On the 4th of September, they've got a Triumph Classic Car Rally. The 10th of September, Porsche in the Fort, which is a Porsche rally. 23rd of September, Heart of Stone Tour, outdoor theatre show for all ages. That looks to be good. We'll give you more details of that as we get closer. And the 25th of September, Pulse of Fort, that's the dog-friendly social show, business show and dog show at the Nothe Fort. Now, tomorrow, we've been mentioning this a few times over the last few weeks, MV Freedom has its sponsored swim in Newton's Cove tomorrow. MV Freedom provides experiences to get to people with disabilities out on the sea, and they have a wonderful brand new boat in Weymouth, but it does take a lot of money to keep it up and running and to pay for the fuel, and they really need your support. So if you're a keen swimmer, why not try and gather a few sponsors before tomorrow evening. You can go along and register at 5:30 p.m. The swim starts at 6 p.m. right in Newton's Cove there in the corner. And if you go along to the MV Freedom Facebook page in advance, the details are there, and you can also download a sponsor form and print it off and knock on your neighbours' doors and your family and what have you, and get a few people to sponsor you so that you can raise some money for that wonderful charity, MV Freedom. We hope to give you a bit of an update on that next week. Now, next weekend in Wyke, Regis at Swallow's Rest, Saturday the 3rd of September, at St Martley's Farm, there's going to be an art exhibition or a showcasing of art from various local artists, sculpture demonstrations and live music, and with some of the works for sale or commissions taken. That starts at 10 a.m. It's a free admission. If you want any further information on that, you can contact Ian Cox at iancoxart@yahoo.com or mobile number 07966 439 161. And we've only just learnt about that this afternoon. We'll try and put something out on our Facebook feed during the week about that. But that's next Saturday at Swallow's Rest at Martley's Farm. Various local artists, demonstrations, etc. Live music from 10 a.m. And finally, in our What's On, we've mentioned several of the things from Arts Reach over the recent weeks, and actually one of them's been such a success. The the 3-inch Falls Shakespeare play that they've been doing, and last week was at Sandford Orcas, was a real success. They've actually put on an extra couple of dates. That of Tuesday the 20th of September at Springhead Gardens at Fontwell Magna. Sorry, one extra date. It's Tuesday the 20th of September, 6:30 p.m. at Springhead Gardens at Fontwell Magna near Shaftesbury. So do pop along to the Arts Reach website if you fancy that. It's been very, very popular, so they've put on extra dates. It is an outdoor event, and it will be in September, so you need to dress for all weathers and bring your own chair and blanket. And plus a torch as well, because it'll be dark by the time you go home. Now, also from Arts Reach, join Squash Box Theatre and find out all about archaeology and fossils. Say hello to one of your Stone Age ancestors, hear stories of giants and wizards, see a volcano erupting before your very eyes, and maybe even glimpse a dinosaur or two. With thrills and spills galore, Stones and Bones is packed with lots of laughs, plenty of puppets, songs, slapstick, tall tales, and crazy characters. And there's a post-show puppet making workshop also available. It's suitable for anybody 6+. It runs 60 minutes with no interval, and it's on Thursday the 25th of August, that's this Thursday, at Wimborne Allendale Centre, and Friday the 26th of August, 11 a.m. at Langton Matravis Hall. Again, pop along to the Arts Reach website, just search for Dorset Arts Reach, and all the information is on there, and it will tell you how to get tickets. Last things to mention are church services in Wyke, Regis tomorrow. 8 o'clock All Saints Church for a said communion. 9:30 All Saints Church Wyke for a Sun Communion, which will be live streamed, and 11 o'clock at St Edmund's Church. And then finally, a reminder that our quiz programme, our Saturday night quiz programme, will be on tonight at 7:30 in about 40 minutes time. The stream will go live about 7:15 so that people can find it and get settled in time for the quiz to start promptly at 7:30. And you're all welcome to join that. It's free, it's suitable for all the family, and it's just for a bit of fun on a Saturday night if there's not something that takes your fancy on the TV. Finally, just a quick look at traffic and travel. Traffic is very busy around Blandford this weekend, obviously due to the Steam Fair, so if you're travelling that way, do take that into account or try and avoid the area. And also around Weymouth Harbour, we have got the Quayside Music Festival this weekend, so there are road closures around the harbour, and obviously a lot of people around there, so do take that into account. As regards normal roadworks, notified ones for this week: Marlborough Avenue, Ainsley Court, Elsevier Close, Coombe Avenue, Freesia Close, Cornflower Close, Hazel Drive, Victoria Road on Portland, and Greenways on Portland. And in terms of rail travel, there is no advance notification of any engineering works directly affecting services from Weymouth. But having heard about some people that were travelling on the train at the end of this week, there still seems to be quite a few cancellations and people not turning up for shifts and things, and trains being cancelled. So definitely the advice is check before you travel, basically, and be prepared for changes. Now that brings us to the end of this week's programme. Thank you for joining me. I will be back here next week at 6 o'clock on Saturday. If you've got any news or stories or events, like the thing that we've got at Martley's Farm next weekend, do drop us an email at news@wykeregis.tv. If you want information on any of those contact points for any of those stories tonight, again, same email. Or if you want to make contact with the Lions to volunteer for the beach motocross, all news@wykeregis.tv. A bit of a hub here. We will put you into contact with the right people or pass on the right information to you. That's all we have for you this week. I hope you enjoy your bank holiday weekend, that extra day off. It's weather looks like it's going to be good. Lots of things going on locally for people to do. Enjoy that, and if you're looking forward to getting back to school the week after next, enjoy the last week of the school holidays, and I look forward to being back with you 6 o'clock next Saturday. Good night.